You can win the fight and lose the person in the exact same breath. And here's the cruel part. The more completely you win, the more surely you lose, because the scoreboard you're playing on isn't the one that keeps you together. By the end of this video, you'll be able to walk into any disagreement with a partner, a friend, someone you love, and come out of it closer than you went in. Even when you don't get your way, especially then. Now, I want to start with a confession about where this comes from. There's a famous video out there, tens of millions of views, that teaches you how to win almost any argument. Sharp stuff, debate stage tactics, how to catch people out, how to trap them in their own words, how to look like the smartest person in the room, and buried in the middle of it, the person teaching all of that says one line that almost everyone scrolls right past. He says, "Don't use any of this on the people close to you, because the goal of a debate is to defeat someone, and the goal of a relationship is the exact opposite. So today, we're going to do the exact opposite. I'll give you the moves that let you actually resolve a fight instead of winning it." Number 3 is the one that can turn almost any argument around in a single sentence. And the last one is the part almost nobody does, the one that quietly decides whether two people last. So stay with me, because here's what's really happening when you argue with someone you love. The moment things heat up, your brain quietly switches modes. It goes into debate brain. You start collecting evidence, building your case, half listening, just waiting for the gap where you get to make your point. And the second you're building a case, the person in front of you stops being your partner and becomes your opponent. You win the case, and you lose the witness. Let's fix that. The first move happens before you say a single word. You have to decide what you're actually trying to win, because in most arguments, there are 2 prizes on the table, and you can only grab one. There's being right, proving your point, getting the apology, hearing them admit it. And there's being close, walking away still on the same team. Most people reach for right on instinct, and only realize much later that it cost them close. They win 100 little arguments and slowly lose the relationship. So before you respond, ask yourself one quiet question. Do I want to be right, or do I want to be close? Name the real prize, because you cannot aim at both. The whole rest of this video only works once you've decided that the person matters more than the point. That single decision changes your tone, your face, your whole body before you've said anything at all. Here's the second move, and it's the one people skip the most. You cannot resolve anything while your body is flooded. When an argument spikes, your nervous system doesn't know the difference between "my partner is upset with me" and "I am in danger." Your heart rate climbs, adrenaline floods in, and the thinking, empathizing part of your brain quietly goes offline. Relationship researcher John Gottman gave this a name, flooding, and he found that once your heart rate crosses a certain line, you are physically incapable of hearing the other person. You're not listening anymore, you're defending. So the move is simple, and it's not glamorous. When you feel that heat rising, pause, take the breath. If you need to, say the most underrated sentence in all of love: "I need a minute, and I'm coming back." Not storming off, not the silent treatment, a promise to return. Gottman found couples who take a real 20-minute break, long enough for the body to actually settle, come back, and solve the exact same problem, like different people, same issue, calmer bodies, completely different outcome. You can't be curious while you're on fire. Put the fire out first. This is the one. If you take only a single thing from this video, take this, because it can turn almost any argument around in one sentence. When someone we love comes at us with a complaint, our reflex is to defend, to explain, to correct the record. That's not what happened. That's not what I meant. And every time you defend, you're really saying, "Your experience is wrong, let me fix it," which pours fuel on exactly the fire you're trying to put out. Curiosity does the opposite. Underneath almost every angry sentence is a softer one that's scared to come out. "You never listen to me" almost always means "I feel alone right now." "You're always working" usually means "I miss you and I don't know if I still matter to you." The complaint is the armor, the feeling is the person, and when you get defensive, you argue with the armor and never reach the person. So instead of defending, get genuinely curious. Ask the question underneath. What's really bothering you here? Help me understand what that felt like for you. Dale Carnegie was writing about this almost a century ago. The fastest way to diffuse a person is to make them feel understood before you make them feel corrected. You don't have to agree yet. You just have to want to understand more than you want to win. And the moment the other person feels you reaching for the real thing instead of guarding yourself, the temperature in the entire room drops. Now this move is about the weapons we reach for without noticing, and the biggest ones are two little words: always, never. You always do this. You never help. The instant those words land, you've stopped talking about a moment and started putting the entire person on trial. And nobody responds to a character trial by softening. They dig in. They start defending their whole self because you just attacked their whole self. Now you're not solving a problem. You're two lawyers fighting over a verdict. There's a reason debaters force their opponent to get specific, because a vague, sweeping charge is impossible to actually resolve. In a relationship, use that same truth, but for good. Shrink it back down to the one real moment. Not "you never think about me," but "when you made plans last night without checking, I felt like an afterthought." One moment, one feeling, that a person can actually hear and actually fix. Always starts a war. Last night starts a conversation. Here's the fifth move, and it's the one that separates arguing from connecting. In a debate, an emotion is a weakness, something to poke, dismiss, wait out. In a relationship, the emotion is the entire point. When your partner says, "That hurt me," there is no counter-evidence. You can't cross-examine a feeling. "You shouldn't feel that way" is one of the most damaging sentences in the language, because it tells the person that their inner world is up for debate, and it never, ever is. Their feeling isn't a claim to be fact-checked, it's a fact about them. So before you explain yourself, before you fix anything, do the one thing debate brain never lets you do: validate it first. That makes sense. I get why that landed that way. You are not admitting fault. You're not saying they're right about what happened. You're saying, "Your experience is real to me, and it matters." Attachment researchers found that what actually calms a distressed nervous system isn't being proven wrong, it's being felt by someone who stayed. Feel them first. The problem solving goes 10 times faster from there, and half the time the problem was never the problem being alone in the feeling was. The last of the moves is a literal shift in geometry. In an argument, it feels like you're on opposite sides, you versus them, your position against theirs. The whole game changes the second you move to the same side. The most disarming sentence you can say in a conflict is a version of this: "I want to be on your side here. Help me get there." That one line does something almost magical. It takes the fight that was between the two of you and puts it out in front of both of you as a shared problem to solve together. It's the difference between me against you and us against the thing. And there's a braver version of this that most people never try. Actually make their point for them. Say the strongest version of their side out loud before they even have to. "Okay, so from where you're standing, it felt like I chose everyone else over you tonight. And if that's what it felt like, of course you're upset." When you steelman the person you're arguing with, when you give their side its best possible words instead of its weakest, you don't lose ground. You take the wall down. Nobody keeps fighting someone who's clearly trying to understand them. You've made it impossible to be enemies. Now, if you've made it this far, you already care more than most people ever will. So let me give you the last one, the one that isn't a tactic at all, the one that quietly decides whether two people go the distance. The repair. Here's the truth no one tells you. The strongest couples are not the ones who never fight. Gottman watched couples for decades, and the ones who lasted weren't calmer or luckier or more compatible. They were better at one specific thing: coming back. After the heat, after somebody said the sharp thing, one of them reached back across. A hand, a softer voice. "Hey, I didn't like that. Can we try again?" The couples who fell apart could win any argument. What they couldn't do was reach back afterward. So win nothing. Reach back. Be the one who breaks the standoff, not because you were wrong, but because you refuse to let a disagreement harden into distance. Reaching first isn't weakness, it's the single strongest thing a person can do in a relationship, and it's the whole ball game. And now you can see the trap the whole world falls into. Everything you were ever taught about winning, build the case, find the flaw, never back down, don't give an inch. Every bit of it is designed to defeat an opponent. But the person across from you was never supposed to be your opponent. The day you stop trying to win against them and start trying to understand them is the day you stop losing the people you love, one argument at a time. Being right is lonely. Being close is the whole point. Choose close. If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because the next video is on the 4 words that quietly repair almost any relationship. And you're going to want that one. I'll see you there.